Hey Josh, it's Wednesday, and first off, to answer your question from your incredibly long video last week, um, honestly, a lot of the points that you brought up seemed like really good ways to combat the generational poverty and all that. And it is definitely a problem. I don't want to say that I've never really thought about that, but like you said, you and I have never really had an issue with it, because, sorry, we grew up in a in a pretty good area, and very involved in a lot of things, and mom and dad were very involved in everything, and it's hard for me to sort of visualize what that would have or what that would be like to be in that situation. Um, sorry. Hopefully I don't have coronavirus. Anyway, but yeah, it's very difficult to really put myself in that situation just due to the fact that no matter how I would view it, it would be through through rose-tinted glasses, because because we're from a I think we're sort of upper middle class, maybe middle, or like true middle class. I'm not 100% sure the scaling of the classes, but we're from a middle class family who were involved in our lives and our schooling and all of that for the entirety of our lives so far. And it's just, again, it's just difficult. And I mean, even most of my friends are from that same area. None of my friends, I would say, are lower class or even lower middle class. Most of the people that I know are in the middle. So it's just very difficult to put my mind into that situation, I guess. But yeah, ways to combat it definitely are the ones that you mentioned. Like, schooling is definitely a big part. Minimum wage is a big part. Even the historical nature of minorities, like you mentioned, African Americans, Native Americans, and Hispanic populations are probably still are viewed the way that they are due to the hundreds of years of, well, the, like 400 years or so of huge slavery that was going on, and then the extra 150 years or so of just lack of civil rights. And even now, there's still kind of a lack in that, especially with the Hispanics right now. It feels like that's the main civil rights movement that's going on right now. So yeah, I don't really have any other way of really looking at something like that, just other than from how history has played itself out. But yeah, it is a major problem, and definitely needs fixed. And now that I spent 4 minutes talking about just that, I kind of want to talk about something that I briefly mentioned just a little bit ago when I was coughing. The COVID-19 virus. There has been, last time I heard, which was on Monday, there was 3 cases of it in Cuyahoga County, and soon after that, almost all the colleges, it was yesterday, that I heard that a lot of the Ohio campuses are canceling their in-person in-person classes. Kent State has, Ohio State has, I believe, or at least they're in an area where they think that they might be closing them. Miami of Ohio, I believe, is on the verge. No, they have canceled them. A lot of my friends go to these go to these colleges, which is why I know. Toledo as well, I heard has. Stark State as well has, and I believe that's all the ones that I've heard about, but I'm sure most other Ohio campuses have shut down their in-person classes for the next month or so, just to be better safe than sorry. And it's definitely been a strange moment, because I don't think, I mean, the closest thing to a the closest thing to a major virus that I can remember is swine flu, and as far as I remember, it didn't have this much of an effect on a lot of schools. Of course, I was in like elementary, maybe middle school when that happened, so maybe it was different with that, but a lot of the national or a lot of the colleges and universities in the area have shut down. Just, again, better be safe than sorry, which, I mean, I understand, but it kind of sucks at the same time because it was very last minute, and so a lot of the teachers, coming from the point of view of a guy who is wanting to be a high school teacher, but still, if something like this were to happen, where it's just all of a sudden, boom, cancel classes, that makes it very difficult, because now you basically have to become an online class, which I've taken some classes that were a Web 2 class is what they're called, which is that like half of it was online and half of it was in person. And the online part can get very annoying, especially if the website goes down, then you're kind of SOL, for lack of a better term. So it's been kind of scary and interesting at the same time to be experiencing this, and also from the point of view of a delivery driver, it has definitely hurt us a lot. I mean, just today, Wednesdays we usually are relatively busy. We were dead for like 2 hours today, which almost never happens, like 2 hours straight, which hardly ever happens, unless it's a Monday, but Wednesdays are usually, well, Mondays are our slowest days, but that's not the point. But we were dead for longer than we normally are on Wednesdays. Even on a slow Wednesday, we were slower than a slow Wednesday, so it's been, I'm definitely worried, I suppose, about the threat of it. I know that it's not, I've heard a lot of people saying that, like, oh, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. I'm not 100% sure how true that is. A lot of the people that have died due, or at least in the U.S., due to the coronavirus or COVID-19, have been elderly or people that have just weak immune systems. But at the same time, it's just sort of like, well, is it true that that's the only thing? Or is it just that's all that we have to go off of right now? So I'm hoping that we find a solution to it soon. And yeah, wow, this video is going on pretty long. So I guess that'll do for this video. So Josh, my question for you is, are you concerned about the COVID-19 virus? And if so, how soon do you expect us to find a way to combat it? So that'll do it for this video. So Josh, I will see you on Friday. Later, bro.